Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zipline gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Chad with the Nutrition Authority, inviting you to stop in and check out the all-new complete post-workout recovery, CPR. CPR is ideal for anyone who works out or competes and wants to maximize results. CPR can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today and try a free sample or visit us at mynutritionauthority.com.
Welcome into The Breeze with DP and Haas on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into Tick Weekends. I'm Harrison Arns running the ones and twos. We got DP hosting as always, and Haas joining in studio as well. Haas, how's it going on this Sunday? You don't really have to ask about our moods down here in Lincoln. You can probably piece it together yourself, but I'm curious to see how you're doing on this kind of rainy Saturday over here in Lincoln, at least.
Happy Sunday. Life's good here. Just, man, I was wishing Purdy was able to pull it out. Being a Niner fan, having a brother named Purdy is pretty cool. And I was texting DP about them throws. And we can get to that in a minute because I know for the last 3 weeks when we talk on Sundays, it's been a little depressing. And I don't want to start my day that way. Let me start it this way, DP. Before I, let's say it's Eastern time. So at 12:58 Eastern time, my youngest was like, "Hey, Dad, where were you yesterday?" And so I explained to him that I was giving a speech, and for my youngest, he actually gets nervous for new surroundings. He gets nervous if his teammates aren't the people he knows. He gets nervous if just for a lot of things. And I had to explain to him, hey, I was giving a speech in front of a lot of people, and I was actually nervous. I was nervous how the microphone would work. I was nervous how the camera would work. I was nervous if I would forget my words because I actually had a concussion. And he's like, "So what happened?" I was like, "Well, I crushed it, and it was awesome. But getting nervous is normal." And then he's like, "Well, tell me about your talk." And so I'm like giving him the 5 keys to greatnesses. and he's like really sinking his teeth, and he's 6 years old, and he's like, "Can I do that for becoming a soccer player?" It's like, that's right. If you really want to be great at something, you got to figure out what you want to do, Michael. You got to learn from your past experiences. You got to surround yourself with greatnesses. You got to reset that GPS. And then, in the words of the great Kobe Bryant, you got to obsess over it. So if you really want to be great at soccer, you have to practice, 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 practice. So it was pretty cool to be able to do that 2 minutes before I was on the air.
It is. Here's the thing. Part of being at the station is trying to get people to trust what you want for them. Big part of coaching for me is getting people to, one, I have to be of my word, and two, I have to be present. Like, I got to show up. Like, if I'm not in the building today, it's a problem because the Lloyds can't make it back.
Then we got a wimpy replay for the.
Right, I got to put something. Like, I got to put something else in play. I got to show. Haas and I talked years ago, and when I first got into this TED space, and I told him, you know what? There's something in it for you. It's not for everybody because one, not everybody's willing to go through everything Haas had to go through to get a TED. Like, you're not willing to commit. Everybody thinks they have a story to tell, an idea we're sharing, but the work that's required, that's so TED specific, I choose certain people. There are people who are smart, brilliant people, great storytellers, great speakers, who I wouldn't trust with completing the whole task that is.
I believe it. I haven't watched a single TED video where I'm not like, kind of like what your kid was, you know, like I'm sinking my teeth into it.
Right?
They're all phenomenal.
Right? And Haas is one of those people. And I'm like, okay, Haas, I'm going to take you through the journey. And this is a 9-month journey. Like, this is not easy. And you still may not get it. But a thing happened in this particular TED where there's another gentleman that we had done a book with. And he checked all the boxes for things that I thought would fit.
Mm-hmm.
And so at one single TED event yesterday, I had two speakers. And I couldn't, as all the good things that are happening around like Lincoln Sports yesterday, my heart was in Hampton, Virginia, because I know how much work the people who gave those TED presentations yesterday, I know what they went through. And that's the coaching thing, is that one, you identify talent and then you give it experience. But then two, it is watching Rico host his own show, watching Nick go and call and sit next to Jay Foreman. It's watching Amon and the esports people come in and feel comfortable, watching Pete Ferguson and these scholars that come in here every Sunday and sit and share themselves. The folks from Farrell's and Fitness Fanatics who help people change their lives by just being them.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like, we just had, two of the guests today. Just go check it out on YouTube and all the other ones for those who haven't paid attention. I'll say it again. The Sunday lineup is just awesome.
Well, I mean,
as a whole,
it's Ricky Simmons and the Get Your Happy On Hour.
Just a lot of great people.
The Malone Center, Salmon's listen, Haas and I would talk after basketball practice about life. And I'll say this to anybody out there, where you are currently, if it's not where you want to be, it's just temporary. It's temporary. That you have a chance to change your world. And then by changing your world, you change other people's world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had given up. I was gonna be done with radio. I was gonna retire. But then you meet people who inspire you and tell you, you know what? I want to see them grow. Look, you're not even the same Harrison from 2 years ago. You're not the same person. You're a different man.
I'd hope not.
You're a different man. But for Haas Tabrizi, and again, shout out to his wife Caroline, who's the real star, like in full.
Yeah.
And his amazing parents, and his brilliant kids, and the community of people that Haas helps on a daily basis get better and live better and do better. that ultimately yesterday was a coronation day for Haas. That was the big thing for me, is that yesterday, Haas Tabrizi, I often said that taking the TED course through and through the process, this is a master's class in life. That's what TED is. It's a master's class. Well, today, Haas Tabrizi has a different set of letters behind his name. He has a different, like when you say Haas Tabrizi's name now, not that it wasn't exceptional before, but there's something elite behind it, something special behind it that says that he did a thing that was so authentically him that the world gets to listen to it whenever they want. So now we get to call him Haas Tabrizi, TEDx speaker. I'm proud of you, bro. I'm thrilled for you. I love what you did with it, and I love who you're trying to help, man. I love every bit of it. If I was there, we'd be hugging. And if this was done outside of football season, I'd have been the first one to catch you off the stage. But bravo to you, our friend Chaz Jackson, who also went through it yesterday. Bravo, Haas. Well done, my friend. Well done.
Thank you, DP. You inspired me so much for it. The way you speak, the way you communicate, who you are as a person, it definitely exuded in my speech and in just all my interactions yesterday. So, Harrison, if you see people backstage super nervous, what do you think DP would be doing?
If there's people backstage super nervous?
Yeah.
What would DP do? You're going to find a way to go over there and talk to him, I'm sure.
Yep. So
It's going to be, match their cadence, whatever jitters they got. I'd imagine you find a way to talk to them to kind of keep them at ease.
So that's probably the highlight of my night, is being able to give something to each speaker so that they could take a little bit of weight off their shoulders and just be able to say, hey, this is what I did. This is what I looked at. And look, after this, you're a TEDx speaker. Even if you mess up twice, there's a good 10-second clip. It doesn't matter. Your message is going to hit someone's heart. And whatever it was, for one person, it would be playing their intro music backstage just to pump them up. And just being able to visualize, or don't look straight ahead at 12 o'clock because those lights were super bright. Look at 11 and 1 o'clock. Just whatever it would be to make these people more relaxed so that the audience could just sink their teeth into the message. So that's DP in a nutshell.
Well, it's again, I'm proud. Like Chaz, Haas was more of a duck to water to this process than Chaz was. But Chaz is such fire and such good people. The one thing about TEDx speakers, this is we'll get into sports, so don't panic. But the thing about TEDx speakers is that you have to get outside yourself and come up with a message that is for other people through your story. Like you've got to go through a big part of the screening process for me and figuring out whether I want to work with people or not is asking them one question. What is your friction? Like, what's the thing that makes you grind gears and makes you hesitate or slows you down? What is it? Because if you have that friction, you're not the only one. But the way you engage your friction is authentically you. And within all the great stories that we tell, and when I look at sports, I can't help but look at what is Nebraska's friction in football? What is it? Is it talent? Is it play calling? Is it size? Is it quickness? Is it opponent? Like, is it the opponent? And then you realize that Nebraska's friction is Nebraska. It's Nebraska. Mm-hmm. It has been. What Bob Devaney and Coach Osborne did better than anybody else was simplify the excellence required. Yeah. And Ani, I've never heard that before, but simplify the excellence required. Like the basic things of doing good radio is speaking about what you know rather than what you think you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's
crazy how overcomplicated we make things.
we are fire with making it complicated.
Yeah.
Nebraska football excels at making basic football things complicated.
Mm-hmm. Such as
Did you
going
like-
for it, you have a chance to win the game, or not going for it.
Man.
Like we did. Go ahead, Haas. Sorry, I'm
No, I cut you off. I'm not gonna lie, I was exhausted starting at 4 p.m. yesterday, so I fell asleep the fourth quarter. I watched the second quarter, third quarter because we were still at the theater. Then I saw overtime, but I fell asleep in the fourth quarter. So you guys are gonna have to fill me in. But the thing I did like, hey, having a QB that could throw, run a little bit of option here, having a fullback back, like those were things that I liked.
Oh,
things
stop
that-
it.
I know.
Stop it.
I know. I wasn't gonna have to try to get you to sign off on Purdy.
Yeah,
so,
like it was a quarterback named Purdy. Of course he was all in. Of course he was all in. Like he was. And Haas, tell them what you said to me about the difference between the two Purdys.
Your Purdy has a stronger arm.
Like that was like, and if you're a Nebraska fan, you kind of have to pause.
Yeah, you do.
Like you have to pause. And he said that about a Nebraska quarterback who couldn't get on the field. and people with outside perspective and vision go, no, that dude can throw. That guy can throw. And you went, wait a minute. How are we wrong? Like he's like, how's that dude not on the field? We don't know. We don't have a clue. I don't have an answer for you.
Well, the thing is, we made it complicated. It was really simple when we first got it, and then we threw in a bunch of variables. That's trying to get crazy.
How many coaches could mess up on a guy named Purdy? Like seriously.
All of them. Apparently it's part of the rule. And let me it's so funny. But like, again, even the Niners couldn't get it right. Like it was like, oh, by accident. Here's the thing: the Purdy's are superheroes. You know how you know? Because they exist through nonsense. Like they both said, like both of them were number 3 on the depth chart. They're just like, no, y'all go ahead. We'll be here waiting for you, waiting for you to figure out that we can actually play this quarterback position. Hey, we can help you. I don't know, maybe win. I don't know, maybe not.
We'll let you decide.
Hey,
but we'll be here.
We'll be here. We're gonna come to practice every day. We're gonna come to film study. We'll just be quiet and be awesome. And y'all go ahead.
I know what it is. From a coaching perspective, you bench people who have high maintenance parents. That must be like their parents must be just so high maintenance. Clearly, I'm joking. I'm clearly joking.
Or they could just be really good parents to produce 2 high-level functioning quarterbacks who can handle have the maturity and emotional stability to be number 3 and still keep working and still be ready.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, shout out to the Purdy parents. Bravo. Job well done.
Well, even like last week, you looked at Chuba Purdy, like when they had to get towards the end there on that drive, he was just getting all his plays from the sideline because he just very limited. He wasn't getting any of those reps. But yeah, so Haas, basically to fill you in, real quick recap of overtime. I think it was like maybe one QB run, but it's pretty much just Braden Allen, and then a massive flood. Just a pile drive with Allen. They get 7, we get stopped. 3rd and long throw pick. Wisconsin wins OT. So it wasn't a whole lot of fighting. There's a couple times where it looks like the defense could have got a stop, but it just was not going to happen for him.
What about the fourth quarter? That's what I missed.
With the fourth quarter, it was looking like a lot of the same kind of Wisconsin's game, but Nebraska was able to get a stop. Actually, a few stops leading up to that. And then they have the ball with they about 3-4 minutes. I think it was about 2.5 to 3 minutes left on the clock. And they have to take it all the way across the field. Purdy scrambles a lot. Surprise, we talked about it on the last segment. Nebraska's best play was the quarterback scramble, running for his life for yards. Had a couple decent throws. Overall, his throwing was good on the day, but for the most part, it's just scrambling. And then a lot of Emmett Johnson, especially once we got past the 50, puts us within field goal range. And then you have the conversation last week, right? Because last week they tried to go for the touchdown. They threw an interception. Maryland gets the field goal. No OT. This time they elect to not throw it. They just try to run the ball, and they get the field goal, and that's how you end up in overtime. So you have a little bit of mental switch, right? Because last week you went from playing it aggressive, you can call it that, and this week they took one shot. Deep fade wasn't there. They had an opportunity for maybe 1-2 more, and they just took the field goal instead. What would you have done there? I'm curious.
Let me pause right there real quick. I think I need to apologize to Lincoln because 3 weeks ago I put it out there and I said, would you rather lose 3 in a row and then beat Iowa?
You did.
Yeah.
Oh,
would you
man.
rather lose?
I told him,
Would you
don't do
rather,
it. Don't
would
do
you
it.
rather lose 3 in a row and beat Iowa, or win 3 in a row and lose to Iowa? And DP was like, Haas.
Don't do it. Don't do it. That's the part of being old in sports is that you've seen the movies play out before, and you're trying to tell people, no, hey, bro, don't go downstairs. Like, don't go in the basement. Don't go. Hey, bro, check the gas. Check the gas. Hey, check your brake cable, man. People don't listen because they're curious. It's like, that's peculiar.
I guess I just refuse to stay away from those superstitions because I feel like if those are true, man, I got to stay away from sports completely because what I've been doing for them I've been just calling the worst things imaginable, just putting my nightmares alive.
Started. That's the beauty of it. This is the funny thing. So when I first got into this business, again, John Thompson was right down the street, and he would just tell me, "You have no idea what you have no idea about." That's the beauty of being young. That's the beauty of being a fan. Is that
maybe if your team's good?
No, but if your team's good, you have no idea why they're good.
Mm-hmm.
You don't care. They just represent you, so you're just thrilled, and you think it's really simple. But the reality is, no, you have no idea. Husker fans had no idea why they were so good back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. No idea.
Yeah.
No idea with the recruiting. No idea with the operation. No idea with the stories, the management, the ego management, right? Of having a roster that had, of the 125 people, had 37 that would end up in the NFL, and you had to manage those dudes because only 11 could be on the field at the same time.
Yep.
That's the masterful stuff. That you're willing to not be sexy and turn that into sexy. To take just simply running the ball. Just run the ball.
So Michigan did what you're saying because they have 7 dudes that are 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", 330, 340, 350. Not 3 dudes, not 4 dudes, 7 dudes. 7. That's the old Nebraska way, is winning everything in the trenches. It's simple.
Mm-hmm.
It's
like
simple.
Well, but this is, Joe Gibbs talked about it. Like he had the NFL's leading career catch receiver. He had another borderline Hall of Famer at the other receiver position, 700 career catches. He had 3 consecutive 1,000-yard rushers. But he built his team's success on the 5 fat guys up front. Like he said, like he said, listen, they weren't even giving offensive lines nicknames.
That's a disgrace right
there. And he said, okay. And then what happened was because the offensive line was so good, the defensive line had to get better. So he had to go and get dudes. So he went and got Dave Butts, who at the time was the only 300-plus pound defensive tackle. Oh, and then he went and got Charles Mann and Dexter Manley, who were 1 and 3 in NFL sacks at the time of their retirement. Like, it's crazy. Tom Osborne set the precedent that, listen, I'm going to take he took quarterbacks. We did the Big Red Brunch House Thursday, and it had the championship team, but you had a wide receiver, you had a cornerback, a safety, a wide receiver, and a linebacker.
Yeah, I think you had Kenny.
Who were all high school quarterbacks. Super high IQ, super athletes. And none of them played quarterback at Nebraska. And he convinced them to do so because it was a greater good. Like, think about that. Like, oh my goodness gracious. That the Bill Walsh and the Niners convinced, like wait a minute, Terrell Owens is going to be mentored by Jerry Rice, who was mentored by dudes who said that this little poodle from a historically black college university could be the greatest of all time. And then he went and got foundation guys. He went and got a tight end from Nebraska. And then he got a fullback from Nebraska. And then he got a tailback from Nebraska. And he went, guess what? We're going to be good.
Yeah. We were really good. And then we had one game and we're like, should Osborne still be our head? Like, it's crazy.
You had people who had no idea what they were talking about to question Tom Osborne.
But that's everywhere. To be fair, that's everywhere in the sports world, not just the Nebraska thing.
Which is why we're here changing that. We are here changing
Hold on. Durham, North Carolina did not question Coach K.
Yeah. How about that?
That's probably.
Oh, they did. They won his year 1 and 2. Oh, they hated him.
Really?
Hated him.
Okay. Maybe
They hated Coach K.
do some articles. That'd be a fun one.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Coach K said year 1, year 2. We got to go to break, Haas. We'll do our research. I'll let you do yours. I'll do mine. We'll go to break.
I just meant 30 years in. Like, you don't hate a coach who's done all that.
That's DP. I'm Harrison. That's Haas. We'll talk to you guys on the other side.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
I'm Christy. I used to smoke cigarettes. I had smoker's cough and severe shortness of breath, and I knew I had to quit. Then I tried e-cigarettes, but I just ended up using both. I really didn't start to get better until I quit smoking completely. My tip to you is just cutting down on the number of cigarettes you smoke isn't enough.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
There's no better way to spark a child's imagination than to get lost in the adventure of a good book. I'm Jenny Benson, president of NSEA. Working together, parents and teachers can help every child succeed. You can help by reading to your child and let your child read to you. Encourage reading in your home and make it a priority. Make reading fun and a time that you and your child look forward to spending together.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and the station.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with 4 Lincoln locations, but now 5 Lincoln locations. That's 25% more locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? Feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11, located right alongside the 93.7 The Ticket Studios at 1040 O Street.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket as soon as the clock hits 0 for the Jay Foreman postgame show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman postgame show, sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinny Krekak, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, More horseback riding, zipline gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
School bus drivers, custodians, paraeducators, and the list goes on of all the education support professionals who help every school in Nebraska run smoothly. They ensure that our students have a safe ride to school, healthy meals, and a clean environment to learn. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. Take a moment to say thank you to the support staff at your child's school.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You're listening to The Breeze with DP and Haas on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into Ticket Weekends. I'm Harrison running the ones and twos. We got Haas streaming in, DP host as always. We got plenty of time here on this segment. I was thinking it was the third one. I'm speeding up a little bit here. So we got actually plenty of Ticket Weekends ahead. And Haas, I'll go ahead and set the floor for you. Where do you want to take this next subject?
Let's talk about the NFL a little bit. So everyone's high on the Eagles and the brotherly shove and their three great receivers and their defense and their quarterback. They only have one loss. They're going to have 4, maybe 5 losses before Christmas. I want to make sure that's out there, since I speak things into existence often, like saying Denver's going to beat Kansas City 2-3 weeks ago. I'm going to go ahead and say Philly is going to have 4 or 5 losses before you know it.
To who?
Yeah, let me look at their schedule here, see if we can see who they actually got left.
Kansas City, Buffalo. Buffalo has to win. If they don't win, McDermott's gone. He might be fired before Christmas if they don't win. San Francisco, Dallas, then Seattle. I'm not looking at anything. I'm using my brain. So of those 5 games, they'll lose 3 or 4 of those games. At Seattle in December is not easy.
You're saying that they're going to lose 3 to 4 games before the end of the season? That's okay. Real quick here.
Before the end of the season. Okay.
No. Before Christmas.
Well, that's the end of the season, bro. That's there's a week left.
There's 3-4 games after it.
This is where Haas, being Haas.
They got Cardinals and Giants after the 25th.
Whatever.
And real quick, I do want to give this. Pecan Pie says congrats on the Ted Haas. We always appreciate that from the text line 402-464-5685.
Thank you, Pecan Pie. Appreciate it.
Good dude. Pecan Pie is good dude.
Always chiming in.
He's good people. Let me look at the schedule because I need to. This is a thing, right?
Yeah.
Tabrizi's just out here.
He's
just out here. First of all, they're not going to lose to the Cowboys.
Okay.
They're not going to lose to Buffalo.
What about the Chiefs? You think they do lose to the Chiefs? It's at Arrowhead, 7:15.
If it's the fact that it's at Arrowhead, you know what? Not sure.
I'm rolling with the Eagles.
Not sure. I see 2 more losses. Is all I see. And by the way, there it is. I knew I could find it. I knew it. Okay. Talking about Coach K, Duke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the first 2 years.
Year one. So he finished 9-17.
I wasn't talking about the beginning.
And then this is what they said. They said the headline, Krzyzewski, this is not a typo. Who is this guy? Is this what we're doing? It's like we can't even pronounce his name. And this is from like John Feinstein. So
it's a real guy.
Yeah, you got it's not some local hack.
I was going to say, that might have been...
stepped into the big shoes of Coach Bill Foster, who had turned the program around. He's been in 15 days, and they were already after him. He was already after him. Like, get rid of this guy. This guy's well. Nobody knew what the future was going to hold, but here's the thing. Most fans don't have a clue.
No. That's why coaches get all the money up front.
Right? Because otherwise... Well, here's what's funny.
No one really knows.
Here's what's funny, too, even in the NFL. But when you talk like Power 5 college football, in NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, hockey, that the coaching pay generally has a lot to do with the amount and type of media you have to deal with. Like that's listen.
It makes a lot of sense.
Nebraska's coaching hire is as much a process of having to deal with the local media that is all over everything Nebraska, rather than say Wisconsin or other, right? That there are coaches that when they got hired this year, there were anywhere from 7 to 15 media people there to announce the hire.
Mm-hmm.
Not in Nebraska.
It's a parade. The whole city comes out.
Listen, and there are coaches who are like, wait a minute, why would I want to go deal with that? Why would I want to go and answer? Most coaches fall in the Dabo space of, how dare this media dude ask me about football? Like the nerve that you would ask a coach, a professional coach, like, you know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's behind the scenes. That's generally the thing, is that there were coaches who would have otherwise loved to coach at Nebraska who simply said, no, that media is too much work.
Yeah. And
it's not worth it.
As a Nebraska fan, I think most Nebraska fans would agree that being part of the media, it is a lot. But, it's like when you don't have a pro team, that's going to happen in your small towns. It's kind of everything to us. There's a lot of glory and fun if you're killing it. There's a lot of questions if you're not. It's the trade-off. And you got to have a coach that's okay with that trade-off, like you're saying.
Like Niners fans, Niners media, like Bill Walsh was genius.
Mm-hmm.
Genius. And can you imagine some college student asking Bill Walsh to explain a decision he made third quarter? Oh. Hey, coach, what were you thinking? Shut up.
That's what they want to say. I mean, you could see it in some of the faces and some of the questions you can tell, or they can be tough.
I'm sitting here, hey, Haas, because it's funny too, because Haas in front of, like, I would love to have Haas and at a Niners media event.
Because he couldn't control himself, or do you think he'd be great?
He 100% would lose his mind.
Like, I'm gonna say something direct.
Yeah, like how many questions? Like Haas goes, okay, I got a few questions for you, and I'll take them in order. 1A, 1B, 2A, B, and C, and then 3 has three parts, and I need them all broken down right now.
Why was Jimmy Garoppolo your quarterback for so long? Why doesn't Kittle go out wide more? And why do you not care about the right side of your offensive line?
Like I just had him ready to go.
I just came up with it on the fly, but yeah.
That's our text line, and I love it so much because it's just like they're just raw and they're there and it's perfect. Because it's like, because I would love to have, if I'm Nebraska or if whatever team I am, I'm going to have a day, and Nebraska does it on its call-in shows at like Wednesday night or whatever that is, where Trav and Matt Rule will go, and they will take questions from random callers throughout. And Haas, let me tell you, I need to send you some of these clips because they are delicious.
I'll say this much. I will say this much. I know they're doing the screening, but it doesn't take much to fake through a screening. So I applaud them for having the stones to do that show, because that's always inviting there's potential chaos every time.
Oh,
first time caller, long time listener. Want to tell him how great of a guy he is.
32 drinks into it. I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna give you this coherent babble. And
why do you suck at play calling?
Like, we need to have, like, I a part of what, I mean, that's the text line without it being like the phone line.
Yeah.
Because in our post-game shows, like, the text line is like, you just, I want to instill a rule that says if you text in after a game, you have to type in how many drinks you had first.
So we can quick work through them.
Look, I'm Bill here, 7 beers in, and I got questions. Oh, that's the mission.
If you see bottle, that just means that's you pass on that one.
Right? Just bypass.
Hey.
It's fantastic. Oh,
I'll get the text line going. Do you guys miss Bo Pelini? Because if half of you
don't
didn't like Tom Osborne, I don't know why half of you don't like him, but half of you don't like him. What about Bo Pelini?
Is Pelini the great median for Nebraska football? Like half the people love him, or is it a third?
No, he is. Yeah, you're right. Is
he the median? Like, it's not Pelini. It's not any of the other coaches.
Yeah, it's not Riley. It's not. It's got to be Pelini.
Like Riley,
because like there's the coaches that even if they had like some success, like you still have a lot more animosity for where they took it. From where we were to like the direction they all kind of shifted it.
Were they mad because of what he said, or how he said it?
I was too young to be honest. Like it was the way he said it. It was the attitude about it. It was definitely a lot of that going on. The sound bites.
I would need the full divide. Like I want the
text line.
Yeah, they will. Like Pecan Pie.
Why do you hate Bo Pelini?
Yeah, I don't think Pecan Pie does. I think he's mad at the people who were.
I think he's a Bo Pelini believer. I think he wanted him to stay, if I remember right. But there's not very many people you're going to find in the middle that are just like, yeah, I don't know if it was a right or wrong decision.
It's one or the other.
It's definitely like, you're an idiot. We were winning 9, or the people that wanted to keep him, and the people right now that have been having this art. I will say this much: for a lot of the people who liked Bo Pelini, they've been winning this argument for a long time. Because they're sitting here. They're like, just one more, guys. It's November. You just got to get one more. Oh, that's right. Wasn't good enough for you back then. So I'm not going to lie. I was a big Bo Pelini guy for a long time because that was the best football I ever got to see growing up watching.
Yeah, Crowbait said, the text line is definitely pro Bo.
Yeah, he was. It's the moments.
That's, Harrison, we should make shirts.
Okay, what kind of shirts?
Pro Bo.
Pro Bo?
Just pro Bo shirts.
We'll see.
You gotta have some Bo Jackson type shirts.
Yeah, Bo knows 9 wins.
That's a good one. Oh.
This is the troublemaker in me. This is
it's coming out and all.
No, I got it. Like the B have the straight up and down line highlighted, and then the 0, and somehow make it look like a 10 and could never get to that. Can't get Bo. Can't get 10.
Can't get 10. Can't get 10. Yeah. Man, but that's the shirt. Like, let's win 10 again.
Yeah. It'd be cool. Let's win 10 again.
Let's win 10 again.
One year we won't have to make like meme shirts. We'll just have like, national champion or just, Big Ten champ. We can just sell those shirts. But the meme ones will work in the meantime.
Harrison, you got to read that text.
All right, let's see here. We got one from 5252. Wichita Husker here. I'm 3 gallons in with Pepto-Bismol after last night. All right,
Texas are the best. Like real talk. That's hilarious.
We got another one. I'm only 6 beers into a 30 pack, but wish we had Bo back. Oh, the rise on that one. We got bars.
There's the shirt.
Oh man,
there's so many shirts. Yeah, we're gonna have a day where we just take shirt ideas.
Maybe we can set that up for Twitter.
Yeah,
on competition for our fans.
Yeah, and then we'll go to our buddy Triple B and say, hey, listen, here's the idea. Will you make the winner's shirt? And we'll make them available, and then we could put like an NIL twist into it, right? That everybody gets something for it. So not bad. You guys are awesome. This is all right. We do have to go to break, don't we?
Absolutely. We got to throw the break here. Haas, you want to tee up a prop here for us to dive into on the next one?
Any love or hate for Solich during the break? Any love or hate for Solich?
Oh, that is.
All right. That's a great one. Text line, get involved, 402-464-5685, and we'll talk to you guys in a little bit.
Belmont Chiropractic and Novotny Nutrition and Wellness specialize in getting rid of people's pain quickly and permanently. For 31 years, they've been extremely successful with advanced techniques in pain relief using spinal adjustments and decompression, detoxification, diet and lifestyle modification, and more. They are fully equipped to handle the most seasonal athlete, weekend warrior, car accidents, strains, sprains, and more. Is there anywhere you're experiencing pain on your body, or are you fighting decreased energy and depression? Consult Belmont Chiropractic and Novotny Nutrition and Wellness first at 402-476-8619.
Nutrition Authority invites you to try Attack, which is an exciting pre-workout for athletes and gym enthusiasts who want the most out of their workouts. Attack can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Remember, when you want results, the solution is simple. Nutrition Authority. Stop in or check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket as soon as the clock hits 0 for the Jay Foreman postgame show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran, for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman postgame show, sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinny Kreekak, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
By their clothes,
Their age?
the way they speak. Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. First, spread your feet apart. Then, pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips, and bite your lip ever so slightly. Now, with one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now, make a face like it just smells something bad.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays? The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
By their clothes,
Their age?
the way they speak. Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Breeze with DP and Haas on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into The Breeze. I am Harrison Arns running the 1s and 2s. We got DP in studio as well, and Haas streaming in. Haas, you asked a question over the break, and I want you to ask that one more time for the text, the listeners out there, 402-464-5685. If you guys want to chime in on the Sutter Heyman text line, and streaming Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Allo Channel 951, you can comment there as well. But Haas, what was that question you left the break with?
What are your feelings towards Coach Solich? Is it a yay or a nay? And how many beers have you had already?
Yep.
How many beers have you had already?
Like, I think, well, we did that. We did this. So last year, before the season started, we made people commit to what they thought the Huskers football record was going to be, and we put it a part of their tag. So, like, if you thought they were going to be 8-4, it said, you said your name and then 8-4. I think some of it, like on game days, it should be how many beers have you had and then your name, just so we can keep track.
Yeah, so like number count, then point.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a more efficient way.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. No, I think Solich is.
I think he's
everybody's hero.
Yeah,
like they want trophies of Frank Solich. They want trophies of Frank Solich.
I don't think I've heard too many.
What was the
fans.
order? Well, somebody screwed it up because they fired him.
I know, but it's like that's a weird one, right? Because I've never. The more I talk to like the people who are around that era, I don't hear anything negative about like.
Well, that was the thing. He was Uncle Frank. He was Uncle Frank. Like Jay Foreman
who hated Uncle Frank.
Like, well, villains hate Uncle Frank. Like that was how that happened.
Nyla Boo loved Frank, and I haven't had any beers yet. All right, nice.
Yet is the real. She buried the lead. Yet.
There's something else similar to beer.
Oh, dang. Notorious B.I.B. 7 beers in now.
Get it a Sunday, baby.
Would take Solage now.
Sunday 7.
Yeah. Hey.
Sunday 7.
At 78.
Yeah, like it happens to every organization, every team has the coach, and you reach that point. I mean, the Niners, think about it. There are people that want to Bill Walsh fight. Like no matter who when they had, DeBarlo had some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mariucci, who was super popular.
Seifert quit.
Seifert. Listen, you want to talk? This is the beauty of it. It's like Frank Solage. If you go to Ohio, he's the king.
Mm-hmm.
But he got fired here. Seifert was the king in San Francisco. He went to Carolina. They hate him. They hate George Seifert. Like if you want to mess somebody's Carolina barbecue up, bring up George. There's 2 coaches you can bring up in Carolina that ruins barbecue. One is George Seifert, and the other is the current head coach at the University of Nebraska.
I better know what barbecue it is before.
Hey, Harrison. One coach is 98-30, and one is 92-59-1.
And got hate.
Oh my Lord! Who do you guys think is the worst coaching fire, where they just totally lost it? Whether they fired him like
Marty Schottenheimer.
Schottenheimer in DC.
Okay. Trying to think.
10 wins in a playoff win, but he couldn't beat like a conference champion consecutively. So they were like, "You're out of here."
Oh, but he was already winning.
He was winning
14-2 in San Diego, and was it AJ Brown was the GM?
Yeah, he was winning with Brad Johnson at quarterback, and he led a Brad Johnson led team to the playoffs, and they fired him. The greatest long neck in the history of the NFL, only second to Steve Grogan.
So this is why we need to pause and reflect.
Yes.
From time to time and be like, do I know what's going on?
Right.
You get caught up in the emotions pretty easy.
Well, there's a thing that's going on. Haas will tell you there's a thing that goes on with administration. And then, yeah. You think about right? That there was an administrator in Virginia that tried to get rid of Haas Tabrizi. Now, how would you not want Haas Tabrizi on your roster? But there's a guy who literally took. If you could coach, if you were winning, he wanted you fired. We would get called in Haas and I in basketball. Listen, it wasn't on purpose, but we beat a team. It was like 100-20.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't run it up. Just my kids were better. They were better.
And they're not going to try to score less.
See me in the office. I'm like, how am I supposed to tell players 11 through 15 who get their heads kicked in every day to, hey, here's first of all, you're going to play 16 minutes. You're going to play the whole second half, which for starting players, they're pissed.
Yeah.
Right? Let me get mine, coach.
Minutes.
Because
they're building stats for the future.
Player 1, 2, and 3 got theirs in the first half. That's how you got 50 points. Players 1, 2, and 3. Players 4, 5, and 6 are, hey, man, let me get mine. So you let them get some. 7, 8, 9, 10 is like, hey, Coach DP, hey, Haas, can I shoot the 3? Haas is like, well, that's kind of what your thing is, so I got to let you shoot 3s. And here come the bottom 5. And you're at 80 points with like the whole fourth quarter. Haas Tabrizi looks over and just shrugs his shoulders because he knows, well, this ain't gonna go well.
That's a great one. That's one of the better stories I've heard from you guys. I can see Haas with the ultimate shoulder shrug. Like, what do you want,
like,
what do you
hey,
want me
man.
to tell him to do?
And then Monday, because I know that it's first thing Monday, he's got to go in and see the athletic director. And I walk in the afternoon, and I'm already laughing because I know the thing has happened. And it's, hey, Haas, how'd it go?
Hey, I'll add to this. So in our soccer league, we're not supposed to win by more than 6 goals. So we were up 6-0 at halftime.
Oh.
Took my daughter out the whole game. She's like, come on, I'm bored. So I put her at goalie. She does a goal kick. And I intentionally didn't let my players come back across midfield so the other team could score. They missed the goal. They missed the goal. So that we get a goal kick. She kicks it over everyone's head and it causes a breakaway for a goal. And we win 7-0. And I'm like, oh, crap. I'm going to get reamed for winning 7-0. But this kid just kicked like a 60-yard ball as a goalie, which doesn't happen at 8 years old. What do you do?
Listen, it's Tabrizi. It's a full Tabrizi.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. You got to understand when you got a Tabrizi on your hands.
Oh, it's a full Tabrizi. Full on, bro. That's the beauty of it. All right, Haas, how the Niners, what's going to happen today?
Baker Mayfield is going to get destroyed by the Ohio State boys today.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Yeah, he's been on a roller coaster, and I don't think this is going to be one of the high points of the roller coaster this year. So,
and he has a lot of beef with Bosa, so it's not going to look good.
Wow, that's the wrong guy to have beef with. But
Baker, run!
There's going to be a lot of this. A lot of this today.
Nico Project up next. That's Haas streaming in as always. DP in studio. I'm Harrison on the ones and twos. Great show. We'll talk to you guys next Sunday.
If you want all the latest technologies from the